Hi, my name is Gail Maslach, and I'd like to welcome you to my blog today. I've written and shared a little bit about my life and so far, but I'd like to take a different approach today because I really want my blog readers to get to know me. I'm hoping that you'll come back. I'm hoping that you'll find value in what I share and that it's worth listening to. So I've made some notes, and I apologize for the eye contact being all over, but that is why, because I don't want to miss any pieces of my journey. And I have to feel strongly that there's a reason why I need to share this. And there's a reason why I've had to go through so much pain and sorrow and hopelessness. And I know in my heart that it was to get me to this point so I could be a stronger, better person and discover what God's true gifts are inside of me and what I need to do with those. So I'm going to start with some background about me today in my online business because it's a very big part of my journey to get here. It's been a long one. It's been 8 years. And I've never given up. I've wanted to at times. But something inside of me has just kept me trying and trying. So I hope you enjoy this, and let's get going with it. It's been years in the making, and my introduction is lengthy, but so is my journey. I decided to write this blog to both share my past experiences and to journal about my current accomplishments. I started working towards an ethical online business many years ago. For health reasons and a surgical accident that almost caused my untimely death, I was placed in the unfortunate situation of losing a high-paying job, accepting the realities of an incurable nerve disease, financial insecurity, and a 1.5-year wait just to be approved for disability. I had to pay $650 a month that I didn't have to keep health insurance because I was so sick, when disability should have been giving me health insurance. And everything basically was stripped away from me except for my home. Now I qualify to be on disability forever because you see, this nerve disease is never going to go away. It's never going to get better. It's going to be how I manage it. So I have choices there. I've been in a car accident. I've had my face rebuilt twice. I've been in a bicycle accident. And all those injuries, well, at 49, they're starting to come back and they can cripple me at times. So it would be real easy and real simple at this age and this stage in my life to say, hey, I can have the free ride with the doctor and all the painkillers I want and sit on the couch and drool. I can play video games, I can watch TV, I can cuddle with my dog and call it a day. No, I can't. For you see, I've always been in my life this passionate, outspoken Slovak woman who just can't put it to bed. I cannot not live. I have too much life inside of me, and I have fought too many battles in my life not to live it. So I got to thinking in the first year whether I would be able to go back to work. And I wasn't able to at that point in time. I was too weak. My nerve disease was very, very flared up. I couldn't even predict when I could walk and not walk. But it kept gnawing at me. And I finally reached a point in my brain where the switch went off. And I looked in the mirror and I said, I'm going to be in pain no matter what I'm doing. I'm going to be in pain physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Whether I'm sitting on a couch or in a recliner, doing nothing and feeling worse about my life. Whether I'm out and about trying to have some social life and hiding because I'm on disability. Or whether I do what I love, which is to work and help other people. And it was at that point that this light bulb went off, and it was really, it's not going to go away. It's going to be about how you deal with it, where you put it in your brain. Now, I had been introduced to mindfulness because of a mental illness that I suffered. I at one point, I had lived for a number of years with an incorrect diagnosis. And I really did think I was losing it at times. But the culmination of events, I finally imploded and was correctly diagnosed. And I did some very deep and hard work to get my life back again. I got on the right medications, and I'm much more functional than most people with my illness would be. But I learned that I had to manage that. I looked back in my life again because I was an alcoholic and addict, and I got into that through painkillers because I had gotten in a bicycle accident when I was a kid, and I walked around for 10 years with a partially crushed jaw that went undiagnosed, and I was in excruciating pain. And I was constantly having dental surgery to fix other injuries that were diagnosed. So I had easy access to painkillers. And as soon as I got those and realized, ooh, I don't hurt so much, my emotional pain went away too, and I was off and running. So I've dealt with addiction too, and I know how that gnaws at you. But I also know if you manage things right, that can be conquered and lived with, not cured, lived with. That's the key. So I brought all these past experiences together to get it in my brain that these things weren't going to go away. They were always going to be just at the front of my brain. But I could put them on a checklist and say, okay, yep, I'm an alcoholic, but I don't want to drink today, and I've done what I needed to do to deal with that. Next thing, yes, I have a mental illness. I've taken my medication on time. I'm taking care of myself the way I need to. Boom, taken care of. Yes, I'm in such pain that some mornings I wake up with tears coming down the side of my face. But as long as I start moving and get my butt out of bed and get that first cup of coffee going, I can move. And I'm grateful for that. Next thing. Ooh, I have all these talents that I spent a lifetime creating by being a career woman. I want to use those and share those again. I want to be valuable again. I want to help businesses and people succeed because that's what I used to do. And no, I may not do it the same way I did in the past, but I have a feeling in my heart that thanks to Empower, I'm going to be able to do it even better. So getting to here has been a long journey. And back to that switch going off, I needed to share all of this with you, and it's not fun to share. It's painful. But I also know the minute I stop being honest with myself, I'm going to start going down a slippery slope. So I've always taken the approach that if I wasn't afraid to share my story, and there was a reason for my story, that if I touched or helped one person by doing that, my purpose was fulfilled. So even though it hurts me a little bit every time I share those painful incidences, to me it's worth it. It's my way of paying it forward. So back to the business side. I knew I could work on the computer. I used to be a computer installer. I've worked for manufacturing companies. I have oodles of business experience. I knew I couldn't work a 40-hour job because if I sit too long, I have trouble getting up and walking. I get in such pain that it can't be overridden. So I needed to be able to work when I felt the best, take breaks when I needed, do stretching and exercises or meditations or whatever it is I needed to do. But I needed the freedom to control that. So online was perfect. So I jumped off hook, line, and sinker, and I had a little money left at the point I started this journey. So I started what I call my online adventures, and I've blogged about this stuff on another blog, but I'd like to revisit it because I think it's worth it. I spent a lot of time, money, and effort out there. I got scammed a lot. I bought black hat material, not because I wanted to do things unethically, but because I wanted to learn the boundaries, and that's my learning style. I know that. And I learned a lot. I would try things, but I wouldn't quite take them to that success point because I was afraid. I know that now. I wasn't quite ready emotionally, mentally, or psychologically. I kept getting in my own way, I call it. I would throw up subconscious obstacles. I would get these models right to the point of kicking them off where I would have made money. But something stopped me, and it was on to the next shiny object. I tried. My first attempt was, I'm going to sell something online. It's going to be a physical product. It'll be drop shipping. eBay works. People are making money. Well, that was good. But I was green on some of it, and it took a beating. And I hadn't done research, even though I thought I had. I hadn't researched the right things. And it turned out to be a fiasco. But I didn't quit. I said, well, that didn't work. We're not doing that again. I tried CPC, AdSense, etc. They would have worked. But I didn't understand them well enough, so I lost money and gave up on them very quickly. And I was looking for a reason why they wouldn't work. I did hire a mentor at one point. Unfortunately, I didn't have the big bucks to keep him because I think at that point in time, that mentor had touched me. And he had touched me because he, in his coaching, had one phrase that I had heard one other place in my life. And I've heard it in Empower. That's the other reason why I know this is the right place for me. It was, you will no longer be alone. When I went to rehab, that was on the sign when I walked in. And I can't explain how many pounds went off my back reading that sign that I would no longer be alone. I would no longer be struggling. I would no longer be dead inside. I would no longer have to carry everything by myself. He was getting me to take action. I was learning things. He was connecting the dots. He was very honest. But I couldn't afford for the next step. So I gave up. And I walked away for a while. And I thought again, what am I good at? I'm good at talking to customers one-on-one. I've always been sent in to save multi-million-dollar software accounts, install software as a solo installer. I've always been in firefighting situations. I like that. I like business startups. I like going in and solving the problems. Or opportunities, as I like to call them. So I went back to offline and I picked up a client. Taught myself how to write their website, maintain it. All those shiny objects that I bought, I didn't have the guts put my name on it and put it out there, but I've used the theories in there to double their sales for the last 12 months. So the stuff works. I just wasn't ready. So I have no doubt that Empower works. Because I know they're working off the similar models. The only difference I see with Empower is the attitude of the people, the amount of training, because in the short period of time I've been in Empower, I have learned more from the trainings I've been through than in years of trying to self-teach myself this stuff. It is so content rich and so valuable that it's incredible. So I did offline for a while and gave up on the online. I was still buying the shiny objects so I could stay in the loop and support this client I have. Well, in one of those shiny object groups, I happened to run into my sponsor. And it's very interesting to me that Empower uses the same terminology as my other club, AA, I will say it, uses. It's almost like a sign from God that I'm in the right place, because I know that works. In just a few days, you'll hear a video from me and a testimonial of why that works. So it just is so ironic that the same principles, the same feel, the same support is there. I am no longer alone, and I know that. So anyway, in this group, this gentleman and I get to talking. I'm not going to tell you his name quite yet. And he asked me what's holding me up in my business. Why aren't I kicking it bigger? And I said, I'm afraid of video. I'm afraid to put myself in front of a video camera. And I know that's the wave of the future. I know that's where marketing's going. I know I have to do it, but I'm petrified. I've lost my confidence because of all this stuff that's happened to me, all the things that have been taken away from me. So he goes, well, I'll call you tomorrow. We're going to do a Google Hangout. I'm going to interview you for your business. Oh, really? He goes, you're not afraid, are you? I'm like, no, let's do this. I want to conquer this. Let's do this. I went all night without sleep. I wrote the questions for the interview and the answers 12 different times to make sure that I had a consistent flowing marketing message. I got my passion about my business out. The questions were right. They told the audience what I wanted. I just wrote and wrote and wrote all night. So I wrote and wrote and wrote all night to make sure that this interview was going to be good. And Mark calls me when he said he's going to, and we sit down and we quickly knock off this interview. I hit a home run with it. I'm feeling great about it. And he gets it ranked. Well, about 3 or 4 hours later, I get this email from a competitor that is beaucoup ticked off because we had inadvertently used his logo in the video. And we didn't realize that it was his logo. It wasn't trademarked. It was just out there on the internet. So I could have left it. And the fact that he was upset proved to me that Mark knew what he was doing and that this worked. And he told me how it worked. He used his Empower blog to help it get ranked. He explained how that all worked. But being the ethical person that I was, we reshot the video. Still ranked, still out there, still on the front page in the first or second position. So this kicked me into gear and I started going. And I have not stopped. I've had more drive since then than before. And Mark never mentioned Empower the whole time we were talking until I asked him how it worked. And then I asked him what he thought of it. And he told me. And I told him I was curious because originally I had an email for an invitation when it first came out. And because I had been an MLM back in college with Amway and Rainbow Vac and dumping water out someone's back door when the vacuum cleaner filled up, no. When I heard MLM, I had made a commitment since then to run the other way. My loss. For you see, those two models would have worked as well back in college. But I wasn't sold on them. I didn't have it here. I didn't have it here. I didn't think they were going to work, so I made sure they didn't work. You know, what you put out there is what you get theory. It's alive and well, and it works. So we talked, and I got some business off that video, and we kept talking, and I'm like, I signed up for the blog, Mark. I started going through the websites and doing the fast start training, and I couldn't let it go. It was like it was stuck in my craw, as they say. And I knew that I had to be a part of this, that it was the answer, that I was at a desperation point money-wise when Mark made this offer of an interview. I was ready to give up again. And I had become depressed because I didn't have enough money. I wasn't picking up the clients the way I wanted. It wasn't moving. And without notice, God dropped exactly what I needed in my life at the point that I needed it. Once again, the right people, places, and things appeared out of nowhere. For you see, no matter how bad my life has gotten, and it's gotten bad at times, I have always gotten exactly what I needed. It may not have been what I thought I needed, but I've always gotten what I needed, when I needed it, for as long as I needed it. I cannot argue that. I have too much experience with proof that that works. This was just another one of those awakenings. And as they say in AA, you have a spiritual awakening about your addiction or your alcoholism. Mark created a spiritual awakening for my business and me. So since then, I got the blog platform, and I got the Inner Circle and the media hosting, and we did the kickoff, and I had too much on my plate. I had too many things going, so I fell a little behind. I haven't been blogging daily like I should, but from this day forward, I commit to doing it. I'm presently working on getting the financing because I still have bad credit, and I'm working on getting that built back up, getting the financing to get all in, to get to Miami, because I know this stuff works. I know this is the crowd I want to be part of. I know I want to walk on stage and I want to be a success because I know in my heart that that's God's purpose for me, so that I can do his work by having the resources to do it. Money is not bad. It's what you do with it. So it was like a cosmic event, and I have no doubt in my mind that this is where I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be with, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I just continue to take the steps as I need to. I now have an assistant that's helping me with the stuff that was too much for me so that I can focus more on Empower and turn my beast mode on, because I'm a very, very passionate person that loves life. And I love talking to people and sharing and being a part of other people's lives. And what has been put in front of me is an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to run with it. I'm going to run like hell. Whether I can physically run or not, I'm going to run like hell. So I hope this hasn't been too lengthy. I hope that you got something out of it, that there was some value there. And I hope you'd like to get to know me better and learn more about this. I would love to talk to you more about Empower and what I know about it. If you're truly interested in knowing more, you can click in my blog, and it'll take you to sign up to get more information. But also, if you just want to know more about me, comment. I'll comment back. I'm a real person. I really care. And I can't wait to get to know you. So click on the links. It's not going to cost you anything to find out a little more information. And you may find that you're in the right place at the right time when you do. So have a good day. I want to share with you the mantra that's helped me keep living. And that's look to live every day in every way. Don't miss out on any opportunities. And have a great day, everyone. Peace out.